you also to take a sip of water. Okay. And the first thing I want you to write down in your journal or your notes is something new and good. Just from today. What's new and good today? Okay. If we don't celebrate our small wins, it will seem like we have gotten nowhere. If we don't celebrate the little things that change about ourselves, that we evolve in the tiniest ways, it will seem like nothing is happening. So I invite you into this practice of new and good because every day there is something new and good. Every single day there's something new and good. And if we can attune ourselves to the new and good, then believing that we are not changing or believing that things are not happening won't take control over us. Okay. Any other shares? So there's some guidelines for how we can frame our prayer, what I'm calling a prayer. And I'd like to invite you to a couple of prompts. Okay, I've prepared some prompts for us so that we can begin to formulate something that perhaps you read every day to give yourself the motivation and the little push that we need. And that could be to finish the year, that could be to get through your day or to get through a hardship. It could even carry you even longer than that. Sometimes when I'm really proud of myself, I like to take things that I've written, print them, and frame them. So I invite you to consider this as an option for you once you've written your prayer. Okay. So one is to give thanks as if the thing is done. I'm sure many of you have heard this before. It's a very common theme. But what I'm inviting you to do here now is to describe your ideal environment. So the place where you live. So you could name the country, you could name the place, so the city, the town, the season, and the style. So for example, you could say, thank you for my beautiful cottage in Kingston, New York. I can see through the trees, the yellow and red tones. I know that fall is here. I love my Art Deco sculptures or paintings. Okay, this is just me being off the dome, sort of freestyling, giving you an example. Okay, so I'll give you, try not to take too long with it. Let your mind, it's like trust that you know what you want. Trust that you know exactly who you are. And the first thing that comes to your mind, write them down. Because remember that you are a beautiful evolution. You're not stuck in one way, not tonight, not ever. So you may write one prayer tonight and then you may write a whole brand new one later on if you feel like it. Okay, so just unleash and unravel and let yourself be free. So let's do like 60 more seconds. Okay. And be quick with it. Try not to like dwell too much because then when you dwell too much, what you'll notice is that as soon as you have a dream pop up, if you stay in that contemplation too long, you'll start to sense the doubt come up. So we want to jot down the notes that come to us most naturally before the doubt sets in. Okay, so number two, imagine yourself 20 years from now. 20 years from now. What would you congratulate yourself for? Okay, remember that you're allowing these prompts to sort of form your prayer. What about you changes now to enjoy that success? So it may be something like, um, at 70 years old, I'm so happy that I learned to forgive my brother before I turned 70. I'm so happy that I'm no longer living my life with that resentment in my heart. Um, okay, something like this. I just pull that, none of that has to mean anything. I'm just reaching. Okay, so I'll be quiet for another like minute or two so you can get your thoughts down. Okay. Number three says, think back on what you loved to do as a child. And the second part of that prompt is, what would that child ask you to do now? Like that little girl, that small person version of you might say, hey, don't forget to. So, our fourth prompt is there something about yourself or your environment now that you want to change or improve? And try not to be, so when we think about changing things about ourselves, it can trigger up like being hard on ourselves. Try not to let that come in. Try to see it like very objectively, like, oh, there's this thing and I wish it was different, but I don't loathe myself over it. Because remember, this prayer is something that, um, we are formulating in such a way that it's already done. It's already answered. Okay, so push back from your desk for a moment. Okay, give a little bit of space. We still have one more prompt, but we can break things up a little bit before we continue. That's okay. Number one, if you feel a lot of buzzing inside of your body, you can stand up and sort of pace, rock yourself from side to side. Sometimes that can help. But one of the things that I really love to do when I'm feeling a lot of energy is I take a deep breath in through my nose and then I flutter the lips on the exhale. So I can show you and then you can join me. I don't know what it is, but that helps me so much. And if it helps you laugh or giggle or move energy in any way, by all means, borrow it. Let's try two more. Deep breath in through the nose. Okay, last one. Inhale. Okay. Always makes my nose tickle. And then shake out your hands. Notice if you are the kind of person who writes hard. If you like really grip the pen and you write hard onto your book and press down. And you'll notice when you start to shake out your fingers if you are or aren't. Okay, not good or bad, it's just something to notice. Good. And then push your hands out. Good. Try to reach your thumb over to the base of the pinky. Good. And then open wide. Good. And then close the fists tight. And then curl the fingers. Good. Shake them out. Big breath. Palms. Good. Try to touch the thumb to the pinky. And then open. Spread the fingers wide. Squeeze the fist. Good. Curl or claw the fingers. 1, 2, 3. Shake up. Good. Let's do one more. And now opposite. 2 and 3. Good. Down and up. Down and up. A few times. And shake it out. Good. You can even open and close your mouth a little bit. If you want to, you can stick your tongue out. Good. And then give your face a little. Good job. Good job, everybody. If you need a little bit more, try repeating that. Stand up. You can do your writing while you're standing. You can bounce side to side, get a little movement. You can jump up and down or shrug your shoulders up and down until that energy passes. And then consider this. Consider that there's something here that's hard, that occurs for you like it's hard. And then just honor that, just acknowledge that. Acknowledge that you need a minute. Sometimes you have to step away from a conversation like this and give yourself permission to come back to it at a later date. Or give yourself permission to be uncomfortable. Because sometimes we feel uncomfortable. And because we have been conditioned, a lot of us, I don't want to assume you have been conditioned, but it can be sometimes that our conditioning has formed us in such a way that we hold everything in, hold everything in. Be tough, be strong, keep it together. So when it comes a time like this, where you're being asked not only to release, but to think about how you might fill your life and your space and your time after the release. So you're being invited to dream and to actually fulfill a desire. Notice if that is triggering and if there's a belief behind these thought patterns that tell you you can't have it, you can't do this, that's not how life works. Okay? Just an invitation. So the fourth prompt was, is there something about your situation, your environment, yourself that you would like to change or improve? That could be a room, a space, an attitude, a behavior. Okay, you pick. It's your prayer, so you pick. Okay, the fifth prompt is, celebrate some small changes you've made. What are you proud of? And then we're going to get into formulating the prayers. And I have some ideas, some inspirations for you. Julia Cameron also has a book called Answered Prayers. So let's take a moment. I'm glad you like it. So let's take a moment to just take a couple of deep breaths. Number one, thinking about your prayer, how it matters to you and your life. Okay? And channeling or looking for that inspiration to put your own words and your own desires in a prayer form. What I'm calling a prayer form, so that it pulls you forward and gives you what you need when you need it. Okay, so it might not be a prayer, it could be a manifesto, it could be inner compass guidance system, it could be like your future self. The prayer could be your future self pulling the present self forward. You could see it that way if prayer is not your thing. You could say like my higher self, the best version of me is asking this version to step it up, to show up in a better way, to believe that change is possible, that when I put my mind to something, my body will follow, that when I am struggling or I am resisting something, I can talk to myself in such a way that helps me get behind what it is I want to do. Okay? This is